Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I'm Jamie B. I read a ton of books. And if you didn't know already, you know now. I was one of the judges for the Octofinals round of this year's Booktube prize. So I was judging Group F. And here's the books that I was looking at. The bottom two, I won't talk too much about because I knew they were bottom two um, fairly shortly into my reading experience. As soon as I knew that other ones were going to be above them, then I didn't have to worry about um, why they're bottom. They were just they didn't rank as high. Because deciding between these books is tricky. A lot of the judges have talked about that when you're comparing books that are of this caliber, none of the books in this group are bad books. There's one that stuck out for me as the weakest, but still, it's not a bad book, and it's by an experienced author, so it's not like it's somebody's debut novel and they're just learning. And it doesn't come across as that. It's just, it wasn't as successful. So it's all just relative at this point, and it's just which one do you like better? Eventually, it just comes down to that. You can make arbitrary, standards for how you score them. I'm sure there are some judges that tried to make it more algorithmic because it's tempting, but they're such different books. I at least did not get any short story collections, so I wasn't comparing apples to oranges, which is great. That can be tricky. So they're at least all novels. One is over 600 pages long, which is a bit long. And actually, there was another one in this group that was kind of long as well, but not quite as long. So, mostly they were comparable enough. My bottom two actually, I think, were the shortest. So there may be something to that. Maybe I do just like kind of a sweet spot of 300 to 400 page books. Yeah, my story graph suggests maybe I do just like that long of books. But I think it was just luck of the draw on this one. So my bottom two were Gliff by Ali Smith, which was my bottom ranking book. I just did not find it convincing. It was her first book that I know of that's trying to be just a dystopian, straight up narrative. It was creative. It was interesting. I enjoyed it. But compared to some of these other books, like it's just not there. It's like her first foray into this branch of speculative fiction. And it was good, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading the second book in this duology, which I do have as an arc. So I liked it enough to request the arc for the next one. They're good. It's just not, high enough ranked compared to these other books. So maybe next time. And then the one just above that is one that I know it's very good. And I felt bad for not ranking it higher because I know for readers that relate to the characters more, it is an amazing book. And it was beautiful, and it just didn't connect with me very well. But it at least got a ranking that was not the bottom. And that is The Emperor of Gladness by Vuong. I did really enjoy this book, but just not as much. That's really what it came down to. I didn't connect personally to the characters. There were some parts where they were frustrating because I wanted them to be better than they were. So yeah, it was still good. It got number 5. And then for the other 4, I'll pull up the story graph, like what they they say about them, to give you a little bit more information about these books. Starting with the ones that did not make the cut for the next round, since you won't be hearing more about them for the next round's judging wrap-ups. So, The Sisters by Jonas, Hassen, Khemeri. This book is about the Mikola sisters, Ina, Evelyn, and Anastasia. Their mother is a Tunisian carpet seller, their father a mysterious Swede who left them when they were young. So we're hearing about these girls from the perspective of a friend of theirs, except that this friend isn't there all the time. And I think it's interesting that we see more than this friend, Jonas, should be able to see. And maybe Jonas is getting information from the girls, and that's why they can tell us all the story. Maybe, I don't know. But Jonas also is maybe like queer for sure, but there are points in the story where it's not done very well and it was confusing. And for a book this long with enough moving parts, those moments of confusion threw me off and kind of threw me out of the story, and I had to try and get back in. So that's really, I think, where it started to lose me, and it's a 600 some page book. I still really enjoyed it, and this is one that if I reread it knowing what it's about, I could pick up on more stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this book. But as just reading it for the first time through, where everything's a mystery until you get there, there's a curse that these girls have been living under, and somehow the curse needs to be broken, and maybe it's real and maybe it's not, and some of the characters believe in the curse and some don't. And there's a magical realism element that maybe it is a real curse, or maybe it's just that they believe that there is one and that's why it works, and it's just self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing. Anyway, so I think I would enjoy it more if it was something I was reading in a group and discussing, which we're pointedly not doing while judging these books. We are not in a group discussing them. The whole point is not to talk about them with other people before we rank the book. So I think that's something that it would have gained more traction with more, bringing out details that somebody else noticed that I didn't, and that kind of stuff. Because there's just a lot. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure that I ranked The Sisters 4. It might have been Fox that was 4, but it was between those two for the number 4 placement. So I'll talk about Fox next. So Fox by Joyce Carol Oates. This one is about a boarding school teacher who he's in trouble and is having to start a new school. And he has a predilection for young girls, and it's creepy. And it very much was a timely book for all the Epstein files scandal stuff, because this dude would fit in with those guys really well, except maybe he's not as classy. So, but he's a favorite teacher. Everybody loves him except he did have to leave the school he was at before in disgrace. This book is also over 600 pages long. So the sisters and Fox were the long books in this set, and probably some of the longer books in the overall set of books for this round. I think the only one longer that I for sure know is longer is Tom's Crossing by Daniel Lusky, which did not make the cut. So I don't have to read it for any future rounds, although I'm still trying to finish. All right, so my top two come down to The Lilac People by Milo Todd and Theft by Abdulrazak Gurnah. So The Lilac People is historical fiction. And from Storygraph, we have in 1932 Berlin, Bertie, a trans man, and his friends spend carefree nights at the El Dorado Club, the epicenter of Berlin's thriving queer community. And as an employee of the renowned Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld at the Institute of Sexual Science, Bertie works to improve queer rights in Germany and beyond. But then Hitler rises to power. The institute is raided, El Dorado is shuttered, and queer people are rounded up. Bertie barely escapes with his girlfriend, and there they take the identities of an elderly couple and live for more than a decade in isolation. So fast forward through the Nazi era, which you can imagine it was pretty bad. The ones that survive, they have survivor's guilt and they're traumatized. Now the Allies get there, and the Allies don't really like queer people either. So when camps are liberated and prisons are emptied after the Allies show up, the ones that don't get released and are basically reincarcerated and relabeled are the queer people. So they're the ones with, I think it's pink triangles. Those people are not treated the same as the rest of the victims of the Nazis. And they continue to be persecuted. So The Lilac People is an important novel. It covers a part of World War II and post-World War II history that does not get talked about a lot, and highlights the state of queer rights in Germany before World War II that I don't think a lot of people realize was quite that advanced before Hitler came to power. So yeah, I really liked this novel, and I learned a lot. I found myself using Wikipedia a lot to confirm that, oh, it really did happen like that. And yeah, I know Wikipedia is such a great source, but yeah, this is a good novel, and it definitely is something that I recommend to a lot of people. And totally, if you are going to be taking part in the LGBTQIA plus themed readathon that Coda is going to be running in June, this would be a great book to read for that. Just saying. But it was not my number one, because my number one was Theft by Abdulrazak Gurnah. And I'll pull up my Storygraph summary here, partly because the Storygraph summaries I'm less likely to spoil things. Because yeah, there's another round coming along for most of these. Theft, though, did not make it through to the next round. For all that this was my favorite, it did not actually make the cut. So in this novel, at the turn of the 21st century, 3 young people come of age in Tanzania. Kareem returns to his sleepy hometown after university with a new swagger and ambition. Faustia glimpses in him a chance at the escape from a smothering upbringing. The two of them offer a haven to Badar, a poor boy still unsure if the future holds anything for him at all. And it's basically them figuring out how to be successful in a world that's changed a lot and is still changing. And yeah, it's a different setting and different specific problems that they have to face that bring this setting to life. And I love books like that the story is maybe not the most unusual story in the world, but the setting helps make it memorable. And it's well written and really gets at, human issues and relationships and all sorts of stuff. It's really good. And it did not make the cut, but I highly recommend it. I actually checked out 2 more books by Gurnah on the strength of this book because it was really good. So, yeah. So that was my rankings. I enjoyed this judging round, and I definitely am looking forward to the round that we only just started, because where one round ends, the next round begins. And I have my assignment for this next one. I have the first book pulled up, and I've gotten to about 50%, so I'm getting through it. And actually, my next round, I've already read 3 of them going into this one. So I will at least reread one because I really just couldn't say enough about what it's about. One of those short story collections that it's been a while. And yeah, I'm going to have to reread that one. So I might reread more than just that. I'll have to see what my recall is on the other ones. But I at least have already read one of them. And the ones that I have not read at all yet are ones that I was planning to read. Like they're ones that I was going to read anyway. So that's my plan. And I'm going to try to not spoil myself on any of the books I've not already read before for this next round. So I will watch everybody else's judging videos, but might skip bits. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. There will be plenty of videos coming out from me in the next little bit because I've been playing with how to make videos, and I have a few that I need to make anyway. So I will see you in the next one. Happy reading, everyone, and pay attention if you like this kind of stuff and think you might want to be involved, because in November you can sign up and be a judge yourself for next year, and I highly recommend it. It's fun and it's not that hard. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye. And I will